Now on CoastTV News.
A local legend dies. We take a look at the life of Eddie Pettyjohn. Wind across Delmarva, closing bridges and causing outages.
And not only that, but midnight winds are forming with some thunderstorms, and we have some isolated cells that's becoming more intense, particularly come out of Winona, and will eventually slide in our direction within the next hour to hour and a half.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Brandon Ferguson. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. Tonight, we begin with a death of a local legend. Delaware racing pioneer Eddie Pettyjohn has died at the age of 77. Known as the first Delawarean to race in NASCAR's highest series, Pettyjohn made his Cup debut in 1973 at Dover Downs, now known as Dover Motor Speedway. Pettyjohn remained a local hero, earning his last victory at the Delaware International Speedway in 2009 at the age of 63. He was also a beloved figure in Milton, where he ran PJ's Auto Repair for nearly 50 years. Funeral arrangements have not been announced yet. NASCAR comes through Dover on Sunday, July 20th, where the field takes on the Monster Mile in the first state's capital. Another school district referendum will take place this week, this time in the Indian River School District in eastern Sussex County. The expense referendum will take place from Thursday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The district is seeking additional funding to help with the operating costs along with the recruitment and retention of staff. If voters approve, the referendum will lead to a $24.10 a month tax increase for the average district taxpayer, or about $289 on average. Street sweeping will take place on all town streets during the week of March 17th through 21st here in Milton to ensure efficient cleaning and maintenance, and the town is asking everybody to avoid parking on town streets during this week. In Milford today, the city reported outages within the area at around 1 p.m. this afternoon. Crews worked on those outages for about 2 hours before fully restoring power just after 3 p.m. this afternoon. The Bay Bridge had a traffic hold today at around 3 as well. That initial hold was lifted just 50 minutes later, and depending on winds throughout the night, more holds could go into effect. But as you can see, the bridge has traffic on it now. The Philadelphia International Airport shared multiple service advisories on X with travelers. According to the advisories, flights to the airport are currently experiencing delays due to wind. As of about 6 p.m. tonight, there were 255 total flights delayed and 7 cancellations at the airport. Passengers are encouraged to check with their airlines for updated flight information. We now take a live look into Dover, and we bring in our first alert chief meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, a windy and rainy night out tonight.
Yeah, it is. And now we have some isolated cells that's continuing to kind of fester a bit and becoming reinvigorated. So we kind of change gears here and take a look at what's happening in Salisbury, only because this same storm is headed directly towards us. Typically, I don't pay that much attention directly to what's happening in Salisbury, but we see the streets and the traffic that's moving along, but we have heavy downpours associated with this system, and we're looking for it to stay in the 60s. Since we have the temperatures in the 60s, we're just slightly below that threshold where we could see some thunderstorms really push through. Here's the latest look. We have a very strong cell moving through Indian Beach at this present time, Angola Bay, Long Neck, and Holly Pines. Also, we see this line that's going through Millsboro, Lowe's, Crossroads, and down towards Rhodes. So this is the most active line right here as we push on through. And this isolated cell over Dewey Beach looks like it's trying to produce the smallest amount of actual hail at this present time. Yeah, that's the signature that we're seeing at this point. Listen, Brandon, I'm going to continue to track this during the newscast, and we'll get back with you in just a moment.
Thank you, Paul. A referendum to raise $5.4 million for the Smyrna School District failed to pass yesterday. Voters rejected the proposal. The unofficial results from the Delaware Department of Elections show just over 2,100 votes against and 1,400 in favor. On your screen now was the scene last night. Salisbury Fire Department says this crash happened at the exit ramp off of the Route 13 bypass onto Snow Hill Road. There's no word on any injuries from this crash as we know right now. The Maryland State Highway Administration is reminding everybody during their celebrating this weekend to always drive sober or use mobile apps like Lyft and Uber. A group in Ocean City gathered to protest the recent short-term rental restrictions imposed by the town council. Demonstrators gathered yesterday on 50th Street right off of Coastal Highway, aiming to highlight issues property owners in OC have with the town's new rules. Starting this year, guests must stay for a minimum of 5 nights. Then in 2027, that minimum gets bumped up to 31 nights. Ocean City leaders approved the change in an effort to keep neighborhoods family-friendly. But Terry Miller, a property owner in Ocean City, says this decision is anti-neighbor.
This has been an issue now for 11 years, and nobody has looked at what are the solutions. Are there a few pockets of problems with short-term rentals? Absolutely, but banning short-term rentals does not guarantee you a good neighbor.
The group has started a petition to send the issue to referendum. The city solicitor approved that petition this past Monday. The group has 40 days to collect a 40% of registered Ocean City voters' signatures in Ocean City. On your screen now was the scene yesterday in Rehoboth Beach, a protest organized by Indivisible Southern Delaware. Protesters chanted and held signs voicing concerns about the cuts to the Department of Education and other government agencies. And advocating for women's rights, CoastTV spoke with one of the organizers.
We want people to know that there's opposition to the administration and also a place for them to join so that we can expand our membership and show just how deep this opposition is.
Indivisible Southern Delaware say they are planning more protests in the future. NBC News has released its first national poll since the beginning of the second Trump administration. The poll shows President Trump with a 47% approval rating, higher than when he first took office in 2017, but lower than past presidents at this point in their presidencies. Vice President J.D. Vance says he expects there will be a deal to keep TikTok up and running in the U.S. As of now, President Trump's extension to a previous ban on the social media platform expired April 5th. Several prominent bidders have come forward as potential buyers for the platform's U.S. operations. Friday, Vance told NBC News there will, quote, almost certainly be a deal made by then. Vance also said that he thinks the deal would address national security concerns, which fueled the initial ban by then President Biden. But if a deal isn't reached, Trump said he would, quote, probably extend the deadline. Protests are taking place outside of Tesla showrooms across the country. Organizers say Sunday's protest is just an example of what they plan to do in the coming weeks, and it is a continuation of a nationwide boycott against Tesla that began last month after Elon Musk's growing involvement with slashing thousands of government jobs. Julia Vargas shows us more.
At Tesla dealerships from coast to coast, growing signs of discontent. The target, the world's richest man and Tesla CEO, Elon Musk.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Outraged by Musk's dismantling of the federal government, protesters are taking it out on his business.
What's your sign say?
It says two things. It says honk if you hate fascists and boycott Tesla swastikars.
Why should people boycott Tesla?
Because Elon Musk is destroying our government. Nobody elected him.
Elon Musk's wealth is based on the value of Tesla stock. Well, the value of Tesla stock is based on air and dreams.
So we're sort of hitting him in the wallet, getting him where it hurts, even though, he's richer than God. But it's hurting his reputation. I really believe it's hurting his reputation worldwide.
Anti-Elon bumper stickers popping up, including these sold on Amazon, marketed specifically to Tesla owners. And since December, Tesla stock has lost nearly half its value.
They have one, which is $35,000, which is pretty low.
President Trump using the White House as a Tesla showroom in an attempt to reverse that trend. And on Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi issuing a clear warning on Fox Business.
If you're going to touch a Tesla, go to a dealership, do anything, you better watch out because we're coming after you.
In recent weeks, Teslas were engulfed by a fire in Seattle, a charging station torched in Massachusetts, and a Molotov cocktail was thrown to a dealership in Oregon after shots were fired at cars there. Not the scene at this Southern California protest, part of dozens nationwide.
This is a joyous, festive protest and nonviolent, and I urge people, like-minded people, to do this at every Tesla dealership in the country.
Protest organizers say they will continue their demonstrations through the end of April. If you see smoky skies in Delaware the next few weeks, there's no need to worry. A prescribed burn is scheduled at both Bombay Hook and Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuges. Crews from Delaware's Forest Service and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Fire staff will be on site doing the burns. They'll burn about 80 acres near Bear Swamp Pool and Prime Hook Road. The burns will take place on one day at each of refugee between March 17th and April 20th. They are contingent on outside burn and dry weather conditions in Delaware.
We're going to feel the wind at our back and the rain on our feet. We're already seeing some isolated cells really starting to kick up the dust near Herring Landing, Midway, as well as Rehoboth Beach. And not just there, we're concerned about the heavy downpours near Lowe's Crossroads and over Millsboro. We're tracking several cells.
White House celebrates deportations of a Venezuelan gang. We have that story next after the break.
Good morning with Vocalax. Good morning. Yeah. Try Vocalax Chewy Fruit Bites for fast and gentle constipation relief in as little as 30 minutes. Making your good morning even better with Vocalax.
Search for a really strong glue that's clear.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Clear glue. Clear Gorilla Glue.
Of course. Gorilla Glue strength in a crystal clear formula. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Keith Calloway has been living and building in the heart of Delmarva for over 20 years. So when you need a new roof or siding, trust Calloway Corporations for an honest price. In fact, Keith encourages you to compare his quote to the competition's. It makes choosing Calloway an easy decision. Need more than a roof? Calloway is a full-service contractor building additions, decks, or even renovating your entire home. All with Keith's personal attention to your project. Calloway cares because under every roof is a home. Get a free 2-day quote from Callaway.
Sunday, the Trump administration said it has deported hundreds of migrants affiliated with a prominent Venezuelan gang. The deportations were under a sweeping wartime authority from 1798 called the Alien Enemies Act. Today's announcement comes after a federal judge on Saturday temporarily blocked the administration's ability to use the act. The judge ordered any planes in the air carrying some of those migrants to turn back to the U.S. The judge said the temporary restraining order will remain in effect for 14 days or until further order of the court. Personnel from Elon Musk's Doge, along with the FBI agents, were turned away by the U.S. Institute for Peace. Congress founded the Institute for Peace in 1984 as a nonpartisan independent organization. The group is dedicated to protecting U.S. interests by helping to prevent violent conflicts and broker peace. The Institute's communications director says Doge members with 2 FBI agents showed up unannounced Friday to try and gain entry. However, the director said they were met by a lawyer who informed them that the Institute's private and independent, the status as a non-executive branch agency. Doge representatives left following the discussion. The latest government entities targeted for cuts include those that support museums and homeless people. President Trump signed an executive order Friday demanding 7 government entities reduce staffing. The head of each organization must submit a report confirming compliance with the order within 7 days. If they don't, they risk losing their funding. All the entities are within the executive branch of the government. The Senate passed a bill Friday that would make permanent the temporary classification of fentanyl-related substances as the highest rate possible rating. The Schedule 1 classification means steep penalties can be levied on smugglers caught moving fentanyl. The temporary scheduling would have expired this month. The House passed its version of the bill last month. Because of minor changes, it will have to clear the House again before going to President Trump for his signature. Spineless and betrayal. That's how China is describing a proposed sale of ports in Panama Canal to American asset management giant BlackRock. The Hong Kong-based company CK Hutchinson currently owns the ports. Observers think some investors are worried the deal may not go through if Beijing objects. President Trump has said he intends to take back the Panama Canal from Panama, which took over control of it in 1999 under a treaty negotiated with the U.S. 20 years earlier.
Here's the latest look at our radar right now. Some very strong isolated storms from Salisbury to Lowe's Crossroads up towards Lewis. So we're looking for these storms for late tonight going into early tomorrow. Your full forecast is just around the corner.
When facing divorce or custody battles, it can feel overwhelming, but really, it's a new beginning.
I'm Rebecca Anderson, family law attorney at Tunnel & Razor.
With over a decade of litigation experience, I will handle your case with care, compassion, and strength. I fight for what matters most: fair custody arrangements and equitable divorce agreements. When it's time to protect your family's future, you need a lawyer who means what they say.
I'm Rebecca Anderson with the team at Tunnel & Razor. Let's focus on your future together.
I've been thinking about renovating my garage floor, and suddenly I'm seeing signs everywhere. The universe keeps hinting, even at my local gas company. Pinnacle Concrete is everywhere. And again, multiple signs at the print store. The signs are too strong to ignore. It's time to call. With so many options, my dream is taking shape. And now, I'm not just seeing signs, I'm living proof. Pinnacle Concrete Coatings, because quality matters.
Pulling up to a great-looking home is nice. Curb appeal is important. But here on the coast, even more important is dock appeal. At T&G Builders, if you can dream it, we can create it. For uncompromising quality, contact T&G Builders to design and build your coastal dream home. Over 30 years of integrity, empathy, and love. T&G Builders, the sign of quality. Visit us online at tg-builders.com.
Because of Pam's rehab team, they have helped me meet my goals of taking a shower after 4 years. If Pam rehab team can help me meet my goals, I'm pretty sure they can help you get yours.
Navigating life after illness or injury is a challenging time filled with uncertainties. At Pam Health Rehabilitation Hospital, we provide high-quality inpatient and outpatient post-acute care that'll help you rebuild your life. It's all about gains. Gain your movement, gain your independence, gain your life back. Pam Health Rehabilitation Hospital, the highest level of care with 3 locations to better meet your needs.
Expect for the rest of the night to stay busy with isolated thunderstorms popping in and out around your neighborhood. And they're going to be just below that threshold of severe, but could still knock out power. So be very mindful of that and have your alternate source or plan for power outages in the forefront of your mind. Our Hershey's exterior camera in Ocean City, we're at 53 degrees right now. That's good for Ocean City because the further away we are from 60 degrees, the better as far as when those storms come through. Now, you might be able to hear in the background here in the immediate Milton area where our studio is located that we're hearing the thunder rumble even as we speak. Now, here's my concern, not necessarily along the coast because temperatures in the 50s and lower 60s, but it's like here in Seaford at 66, 64 Delmar, 63, for example, in Salisbury. Because when you talk about the temperature and the dew point temperatures being in the 60s, that's just enough energy to give these storms enough battery power, so to speak, so that they can come into fruition like this and perhaps produce a cell like this. And this cell is indicating it could possibly be producing some small size hail, according to our marker, headed towards Hollyville and Angola by the Bay. And it's actually targeted to move over towards Dewey Beach. We have Highway 113 that's being inundated by scattered showers between Georgetown down towards Millsboro, Dagsboro, and then Frankfort. Now, with this line here, I'm looking at blinding rain at this point, okay? So that's how significant it's going to be right now. Gale wind warnings are in effect with 45-mile-per-hour winds off the coast, along with small craft advisories from Ocean City down to Chincoteague. But this is just this one line. Now, my concern is because you see how all this is lining up right here? This is what we call a phenomenon called training. Like, you know how tracks, you know how cars along a track go right along because it's right along that track. Well, see, think about these both sides of this, like one track that's pushing across. So we're going to look at this line right here. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Hey, sorry. Hang on a second, fellas. I see something I might need to pay attention to. I'm sorry, guys. This is live TV, but I saw something that I did not like what I saw with that signature. I thought I saw something pop up that should not. Hang on one second. I will get back to my regular forecast. Just go with me right now. I'm looking at Delmarva right now. Smith Hill, Melton. Okay. All right. Only reason I stopped my forecast, and I don't do this often, it's about the third time in my career I've done that. I thought I saw a tornado signature pop up, but it did not. Okay. It did not. So what I'm going to do is go back to our regularly scheduled forecast, and we're going to pick up right about where we would look for our expectations for tonight. All right. So, dropping to 55 for tonight, late night rain with isolated thunderstorms. 58 for tomorrow, dreary and gray with possible drizzle. And then for Tuesday, breakaway sunshine and 60 degrees. I will continue to track the storms over the rest of the night, just in case something gets a little wonky again. Finally, here's a look at your extended forecast.
Thank you, Paul. The death toll continues to rise after a massive storm system tore through the central and southern U.S. this weekend. At least 35 people were killed in 7 different states. As this massive system shifts east, more than 60 million people are under the threat for severe storms from Pennsylvania all the way to Florida. Jen Sullivan shows us the details on this catastrophic damage.
This massive tornado caught on camera in Taylorsville, Mississippi, part of a violent outbreak of storms tearing through the Midwest and South this weekend, carving out a path of destruction.
This is really devastating.
In Missouri, at least a dozen people have been killed. Tornadoes shredding buildings and homes in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. An entire roof landing on this car. The fierce winds toppling trees and power lines.
Over 27 counties were affected significantly, kind of an Armageddon situation for emergency response.
The tornadoes also tearing through parts of Arkansas, the roof collapsing in on this home in Jackson County. This trailer blown over in Greene County.
I had my daughter in the house with me, and I had to put her in the closet and just make sure everybody in the house was safe. That was my main goal.
Out of all the years I've lived here, nothing like this has ever happened, and it's just astronomical.
The powerful storms pummeling parts of the South Saturday night. In Alabama, this school bus blown into a high school. The entire roof of this structure gone. As this giant system shifts east, more than 60 million people are under the threat for severe storms Sunday from Pennsylvania to Florida.
We are talking the potential for tornadoes as well as damaging winds that could be 50, 60, even 70 miles per hour.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
The fire department sounds the alarm. The Moneys say they need to urgently keep the ambulances running.
We could practice our skills anywhere, but here is where we've chosen to be. It's here that we find new ways to create hope, give second chances, save lives. One day your heart will need us, and on that day, we'll be ready, without missing a beat. The Heart and Vascular Institute at Bay Health. Our commitment runs deep.
At Delmarva Canine, we know your dog is family. Choosing where to board them is a big decision. Our meticulously clean facility prioritizes your dog's safety. We sanitize leashes and bowls, we use cameras for constant monitoring, and we treat your dog like our own. Our trained staff ensures a stress-free environment for dogs of all sizes and temperaments. Plus, we can give them a bath and do their nails. Schedule a tour today and see why Delmarva Canine is all about the love of the dog. Delmarva Canine Boarding and Training, Pittsville, Maryland.
Clap if you love your shell house.
Grace sold us our house in Marsh Island. It was just like instant, we're gonna be friends. We couldn't be happier. We instantly clicked from the second we saw our lot to having each other at our son's birthday parties. It's so comforting to have someone help you through something that can be super overwhelming. Shell is happiness and Shell's home. And Shell is friends. It's friends. I was gonna say that.
dandelions, a bright yellow warning that now is the time for prevention because crabgrass and clover aren't far behind. Hillside Lawn Service has been making lawns around the Chesapeake healthier and weed-free for nearly 30 years. From soil to trees, grass and weeds, Hillside's certified agronomists test your soil, apply exactly what it needs and nothing it doesn't. Their high-efficiency formulas help protect our waterways. Switch to Hillside now and get $25 off their annual maintenance program. Call Hillside Lawn Service for your free assessment.
Cosmetic dentistry is providing patients with the smile they've always dreamed of. Becoming accredited in the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry has allowed me to provide our patients with just that. I've achieved the highest level of training in cosmetic dentistry. There's only 400 or so dentists that have been accredited since 1986. Come see me. I'm excited to help you achieve the smile of your dreams.
Schedule your free consultation with De Palma Dental in Berlin, Maryland today.
As Sussex County grows, local fire and EMS needs are growing too. In Lewis, the fire department says if something doesn't change, they can't afford to keep up the ambulance. And the fire department says they've asked for money 6 years ago. They said they didn't get enough, and Lewis population continues to skyrocket. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us what the fire department has to say.
A plea for help from the Lewis Fire Department. Fire Chief William Buckalow and President A. Wallace Evans say they need more money from Sussex County to keep up with ambulance demand.
They've allowed a lot of growth, but they haven't increased our funding. And in the past 3 years, our deficit on our EMS is $1 million.
The fire department, which is primarily made up of volunteers, says they've gone from responding to, on average, 14 calls a day, both medical and fire calls, to 21 calls a day in just 6 years, which in turn forced the department to hire 8 more EMTs. Lewis Fire says that has doubled operating costs since 2018, and funding, including donations, have not kept pace. We reached out to Sussex County about the letter they received, but they did not have any comment at this time. The question remains, if Lewis cancels its ambulance service, who will respond when people call 911?
We don't know how Rehoboth or Milton or the surrounding areas are going to be able to pick up the extra runs that we're dropping out. Our problem is we've been just running so many of them, and we just can't keep up anymore.
Eileen Beveridge lives in Lewis and tells CoastTV she thinks the county needs to pony up.
It would mean that people would die. If they couldn't get an ambulance and they couldn't get to the hospital or the emergency room, people would die. I think it's a very serious problem.
As more and more people call 911, the call for help grows louder from the Lewis Fire Department.
The fire company wanted to make it clear that they don't want to dissolve the ambulance service. They say they've been left with no other choice. We contacted the city of Lewis, who said they were unaware of this letter. It's National Kidney Month, a time to raise awareness about kidney disease, and right now more than 90,000 Americans are waiting for a kidney transplant, according to the Mayo Clinic. But experts say many misconceptions discourage potential donors. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a living kidney donor and dispels the myths about the procedure that can save a life.
It's a connection they consider to be providential. Born 18 days apart, Megan and Regina have never lived life without the other.
We didn't know it, 35 years ago when both of our mothers were pregnant, that this would be our story.
Their tale of friendship took a twist in 2022 when Regina got so sick her name had to be added to the kidney transplant list, one of around 90,000 people left hoping. But the Mayo Clinic confirmed Megan as a match to her childhood best friend, and in 2023 she gave the best gift anyone could give, a new chance at life.
Many of our patients wait 4 to 6 to even 9 or 10 years before they receive that gift of life.
Transplant surgeon Dr. Shannon Mao says the need significantly outweighs the organ supply, and less than a third of people waiting will get a kidney this year. Mao believes it's due to common misconceptions like living kidney donors have to have perfect health. She says that's false. They need to be generally healthy, but donors can potentially have controlled high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. diabetes. Second, those over age 50 can't be a living donor. Mal says there's no age limit. Donors just have to be 18 or older. Third, you have to be related to be a match. Mal says Megan is living proof that's not true. More than a year after the transplant, both friends are doing well.
Like, I always considered her family, and now like she truly is family.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Misconceptions are that living kidney donors can't have an active lifestyle after donation. Experts say in most cases, donors return to normal activities 4 to 6 weeks after surgery, and experts say some believe donating a kidney shortens the donor's lifespan. But experts also say multiple studies show that that's simply not true. A new sports record was set Thursday night. NBA star Steph Curry became the first player in the NBA to score 4,000 three-pointers. He was already known as the league's greatest shooter, and he continues to cement that. The Olympics will be broadcasted on NBC and Peacock through the 2036 Games. The Hill reports Comcast reached an agreement with the International Olympic Committee for $3 billion. The media corporation will distribute live TV coverage of the Olympics Games, broadcasting services, and work with IOC on digital advertising. NBC has broadcast 19 total Olympic Games since 1964. That's more than any other U.S. media company. After the break, here on Coast TV News at 11, as we take a live look into Ocean City, we have a final check on your rainy, windy forecast.
Moving doesn't have to be stressful. At Budget Movers, we take the hassle out of your move. Whether moving across the street or all along the East Coast, we've got you covered.
I've used Budget Movers to move my own personal home, as well as some of my customers. They make it simple and easy.
From packing to transportation, we can take care of it all. So hire me and make your move worry-free.
Upgrade your roof. Whether it's metal roofing or shingles, Alpha Roofing and Siding is the pinnacle of protection and style, using premium materials that withholds any harsh conditions that are covered by a 50-year material warranty. Get free gutter guards with your new roof and 12 months no interest. Ask us how to save 30% with a federal tax credit on solar skylights. Call today for more details. Alpha Roofing and Siding, where protection comes first and setting the standard is our legacy.
Taylor Oil Company leads a family of services offering energy solutions to Delmarva since 1927. We serve all customers with our own qualified staff of seasoned professionals, allowing us to manage all aspects of each and every call. The Taylor Oil family of services, one number for all your energy needs. Call 410-749-2151 to speak to one of our qualified employees. Taylor Oil Company, day or night, our service never sleeps.
After you make a deposit at a community bank, do you know how your dollar benefits the local economy? With a big bank, your dollar could go anywhere. But at Hebron Savings Bank, your dollar is a part of Jack's equipment loan that helps him upgrade his tractor. It helps Judy with a mortgage to buy her first home, and makes Nancy's dream a reality with a small business loan to open her own shop.
Banking locally strengthens our entire community. Hebron Savings Bank, your hometown community bank.
Right now, tracking a strong storm along Highway 9 from Georgetown to Benham. It's going to be in Mill Pond Acres at 11:42, Green Hill at 11:48, and at 12:30, North Cape May. This storm is producing blinding rain as well as very strong winds and a possibility of hail. We're going to continue to track this throughout the night, and we will interrupt programming if it turns into something tornadic.
Thank you, Paul, for keeping us updated on that. And thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. For more news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. We'll see you in just a few hours for Coast TV News Today, starting at 5 a.m. Have a great night.